Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. A great day here in Omaha. I hope you guys are having a great day where you're at. A little cold for a May in general, but I'm sure that's what we're seeing across the country. Great day to be sitting inside for a lot of folks and watching a webinar, I think. We're going to have a great one today. We've got the coach, Dave Pimper. We're going to talk about Social Security claiming in general and how to increase your business with Social Security knowledge and also potentially offering that Social Security knowledge in a digital workshop format. So it'll help you transition a little bit for the states where maybe you're not still able to uh, have direct contact, which is probably most states right now. And frankly, our experience has been that people just don't want to come to face-to-face meetings. So it's a digital workshop. It's a great alternative to that. So we'll be talking about that a little bit as well. As we get rolling here, if there's a poll or two that comes up, just hit yes or no. No big deal. You're not making any lifetime commitments there. And if you want to say no, don't think twice about that. We have just kind of trying to gauge your interest. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in, and we'll ask them and get them answered as quickly as we can. We got a big group here today. A lot of veterans, a lot of folks that have been with us for a while. So obviously, still a area of interest, whether that's Social Security or digital workshops or whatever right now. So thank you for joining us. As we get rolling, I'm going to run through a couple things. I'm going to do it rather quickly because as I look, we do have a lot of folks on today that I think generally know what we do and how we do it. But I do want to make sure that you're aware of a couple things that are happening here for those of you that may not. So take advantage of our referral program. When you refer somebody, we pay you a small bonus on business that they do as long as they're with us. So that really comes out to be some pretty good money. So if you have a colleague that you think might be interested in what we do, let us know. Also, we have a marketing reimbursement program, pretty simple program. When you do business with us, whether it's with life annuities, whatever, you're going to get money put into your marketing reimbursement account, and we're going to match your spend dollar for dollar when you're doing things to grow your business. So whether it's through us or through the local newspaper, mailings, or whatever you're doing to grow your business, we're going to help you with those expenses. One of the things that we do, and I'm just looking, I've got probably maybe 18 or 20 of you on here that are relatively new with us, or maybe even haven't even pulled the trigger on getting appointed with us. So for you folks, I want you to be aware of the new producer builders. You can see you claim new production builders at various levels, and you choose which of those that you want to take advantage of. What I want to maybe make clear to you here is it's good for your first 180 days for 6 months of being appointed with IAMS. And if you look at these and you say, hey, these are all well and good, but this is what I'm doing, we'll basically apply a monetary equivalent towards anything that you want to do that's designed to help you grow your business. So I don't want you to think that we believe we have all the answers, but these are some things that you can choose from. And if you think of something else, certainly let us know. We'd be glad to entertain good ideas that you have that you're using currently to grow your business. We've got great back office support here at IAM. So whether it comes in from case design all the way through getting your commission paid out on a timely basis, we follow you and your business all the way through the pipeline. We're better at that than most. We do a great job. You'll love the high level of contact, and you'll love the information that you get, whether it's via email or via one-on-one conversation. So you're going to be happy with the support that you get for your business when you do it here at IAMS. One of the things that we do here, we just established a single sign-on for Firelight. So obviously, when you've got situations going on where it's hard to see your clients, and I know I've got agents that are, trying to transact business while still keeping socially distant, and that's hard to do on an application. So Firelight or e-apps are a great way to do it. Firelight is probably the biggest platform, the most widely used platform, and Firelight is also now set up as a single sign-on on our website. So what that means is you can go to our website, and no matter what carrier, most carriers that you do business with, you can go into that portal and submit business to that carrier via e-app. The great thing about that is, number one, you don't have to visit 12 or 15 or 18 websites, depending on what company you're doing business with. But the second part is that now that the information on that client is resident in the single portal, so if you want to do business with company A with a client, and then maybe a year later you come back and that same client you want to do business with company B, that information can be cut and pasted and moved over. They have a term for it. It's like copy. Full app copy, and then you just do a full app copy to the new application, and you're off to the races. Don't have to go through all that paperwork again. So, and as you know, when you do a Firelight app, then after you go through the application online, you send an email out to your client, and they have what they call a signing ceremony, which is basically just an email to your client confirming that they are in agreement. They hit yes, and it's done, and the application goes off into the pipeline. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about having the right forms because they're all populated for you. You don't have to worry about uh, missing a blank because you can't. It requires you to basically fill in all the blanks so that nothing gets missed either. So it's really a way to make sure that your business, really good way to make sure your business goes through quickly and easily, painlessly, seamlessly, however you want to put it. It's a great. We've had great response from our producers, many producers that have converted to the e-app platform. But want to make sure we've got an internal advertising agency built around producers in the financial services business. We call it our creative solutions team, and basically they work with folks just like you all day long, helping grow their business, build their business using the advertising online, webinar, websites, Facebook advertising, things like that, social media in general to help grow your business. And it's already uh, set up and really designed specifically for your business. So if you have any need for services like that, what I want you to do is get with your sales director and say, hey, this is what I'm looking at. Can your creative department do it? Whether there's a cost to it or whether we can cover it pro bono or whether we can cover it with marketing reimbursement or some other fashion, we're glad to do that. What we know is that when you advertise your business and grow in it, that we can help you with that. We can help you do it very efficiently in terms of your time and money. And when you're successful and when it works for you, that works great for everybody. So we're predisposed to do anything we can to help you grow your business. We've got a great team here to help create the right brand and right image for you in your area. Want to make sure that you're aware of our website. This is where you'll find that Firelight single sign-on. We've got a great library of sales tools under our resource section under the IM sales library. Great stuff out there. If you want to run a quote on an annuity, if you want to run a quote yourself on life insurance or submit an app via life insurance via the iPipeline app, we've got everything kind of set up and runs through our website. It does require you to register, so you'll have an individual sign on for our website. But all that being said, we just want to make it as easy as we can for you to get to the website, get some great tools, and help you grow your business as succinctly as we can on a 24/7 basis. So if you haven't looked at the website, call your sales director up and say, hey, walk me through. This is what I do. This is how I do it. Show me what on the website might be valuable to me. That's really the best, most efficient introduction to what we've got out there. Well, many of you already take advantage. I'm looking up and down at our list of attendees today, and I know 3 or 4 of you aboard today already take advantage of our expense. We pay your expenses to get on the retirement analyzer, so you don't have a cost to it. We take care of that. If you want to look at it and get a feel for it, call Marcus Soller and say, hey, walk me through the retirement analyzer, because you can see on the screen before you basically what you can do is help your client understand where they are on their pathway to their retirement. Where their shortfalls, where they long, how they, is they're set up the way that they want to in terms of their risk profile. Are they overly risked or under risked, or are they not getting the return that they need? What adjustments need to be made there? How are they set up? It incorporates Social Security benefits as well. And if you've ever used a retirement analyzer, if maybe you signed on at one time, you know that cost is about $80-90 a month. If you do it on your own, we're going to take care of that cost for you. If you're a producer with IMS, and even if you're just getting aboard with us or considering doing business with IMS, we're going to give you a free look at it for a month or 2 and see if it's a good part of your business. What I recommend is you go out and try it. Maybe do one on yourself or do one on a good client, see if it might be a great fit for you. If it is, let us help you. Mark's great stick. He knows all the ins and outs of that. If you want to go on and get some e-learning, they've got some great stuff right on their website that they can walk you through ways that you can use that product. So it's a great system. If you haven't used one or one like it, I would suggest that you take a moment, give Marcus a try, and give that a shot. We've got a wealth management firm, RIA. So here's what I would say about that in general. If you're thinking about getting your Series 65 and you need a little support around that, we've got a great team to help you with that. We work with most of the folks that are now in our RIA, primarily found their kind of start in the business on the insurance side, and we've helped them get that Series 65. So if that's something that you're thinking about, give them a call and say, hey, how can you help me through that process? If you're already a Series 65 and maybe not happy with your current RIA because of high fees or low value for your fees, or maybe the payout's not right, I would suggest that at least, if nothing else, you give them a call and say, hey, what do you guys do? Because I've had really good feedback from our guys in terms of what they're seeing uh, compared to what they were used to in the payouts. So our payouts are actually just in a little bit in excess of 1% to the IAR, and we don't run that through a grid. So you may be used to, hey, we do a 1% payout and you get 90 or 80 or 70 or 60% of that. That's not the way that ours works. We have a little bit higher than 1% payout, and it is, you receive all of that. It doesn't go through another gridding system. So if for whatever reason, maybe you're not happy with your current RIA and you want to see what they do that's different, that'd also be a good reason maybe to check yes on that poll. Obviously, if you're not interested in getting a 65, you don't want that to be part of your business, which is certainly I understand that, or maybe you have a 65 and real happy with your current RIA, just check no on that poll. I'd appreciate your feedback there. If you do check yes, either Mike or Sarah or Charles will give you a call and walk you through a little bit of what they do and how they do it. In my experience, that's probably a 10 or 15-minute call, depending on your questions, and probably good use of your time if you've ever considered adding managed assets to your business, or if you already have and you're not maybe 100% happy with where you are. So I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you all for voting so quickly. I appreciate your quick responses there. If for whatever reason you weren't able to vote, just give us a call and say, hey, let me chat with the folks over at IMS Wealth, and they'll be glad to take a few minutes and walk you through what they do. I'm going to get moving right along here. So Life and Annuity Academies, obviously we've had to put them on hold because they are face-to-face events. We generally do 3 or 4 of them a year, and we're still thinking that we'll be able to get 3 of them in this year, but we probably won't get started until the late summer. You can see what we talk about at our Life and Annuity Academies right before you on the screen. Probably the centerpiece of it is the producers that we have. They come in and show you what they do, how they do it, make it available to you. That's very good information. You also hear from some of the folks here at IAMS. We'll talk about sales and marketing ideas and initiatives that a lot of our folks have used to benefit. And then, of course, we'll have some carrier presentations. A lot of those we ask them to mix in some sales ideas, but they'll talk a little bit about product. It's probably about 80% sales and marketing, 20% product, or maybe 15% product, and then 5% just general, what's going on in the industry type stuff. There's a lot going on right now, as you are all well aware. And so a lot of that is covered in the course of our academy. So if that's of interest to you, if you want to join us at an academy, I'm going to shoot up one more poll here really quick, and I'd ask you to answer that if you could really quick as well. So we do take care of your expenses. So if you're traveling, no matter where you're traveling from, if it's a flight, we take care of all of your flight arrangements, including to and from the airport once you hit the ground at the location. We'll take care of your meals, take care of your hotel as well. So what your cost is your time, which is no small thing. We understand that you're going to be out of your business for about 3 days. We'll bring you in on a Wednesday, take you out on a Friday, so you're going to be gone pretty much from Wednesday through Friday of whatever week. Next one, as I mentioned, will probably be in late July, early August, likely either here in Omaha or in Des Moines, Iowa. So if that's of interest to you, if you would like to be included in any of the upcoming Life and Annuity Academies, or if you just want to see the hour-by-hour agenda, hit yes on that poll. We're going to send you out an email that will include that agenda. It will also include a registration form. If you look at the agenda and say, hey, none of this looks like it would be useful to me, don't complete, then return the registration form, because if you do complete and return it, then what we'll do is we'll just, as the opportunities arise, we'll shoot you an email and say, hey, we got this date, and this date. If one of those works for you, we'll get you into one of the academies coming up. We do limit those to about between 40 and 45 guests, so space is a little bit limited on that. If you've been to one in the past and you're interested in joining us again, I would ask that you check no for now and maybe give me a call or give your sales director a call. We like to keep these open for folks that haven't been to one, but if it's been a couple of years, certainly understand that changes take place in your business and in our presentations, and that might be valuable. So I'm going to close that poll out. Looks like we have about the same number of people not voting as before, which is fine. If you're not a voter at all, we'll assume you have no interest. Close that poll out. Let's get there's just a couple more things I want to mention to you before we get started. So we do have a trip that we do in conjunction with Athene, co-sponsored event, and that is only for folks that do business with Athene through IAM. So if you're doing business with Athene through another entity, obviously you're not eligible. If you're doing business with IAMS but not with Athene, this particular convention, a meeting for you and your guest is not available to you. But if you're doing business with IAMS and you're doing it with Athene, you can see we're going to go to a beautiful spot down there in Cabo. Love to have you join us, you and your guest join us there. First class luxury all the way, great spot. You're really the only swimmable beach in Cabo proper. It's a very nice bay that they have sitting there. So we'd love to have you join us. And the good news is the qualification is ongoing. Any business that you do towards qualifying for this event is also going to qualify you, kind of a double duty dollars type of thing, for our big convention, which is going to be at the Secrets all-inclusive resort at Port of Arda in early March. So we'd love to have you down, you and your guests down in early March. It takes 3.5 million to qualify, so you can see if you do 3 million to qualify for that Athene trip, you do another 500,000 with us, you get qualified for 2 trips, almost for the price of 1. And the great news is that if you are producing beyond that level and you get to 6.5 or 8.5 million, we're going to add another 3 or 4 days on for you and your guest onto the Port of Arda trip as well. So we'd love to have you join us. If there's anything we can do, if you haven't talked to your sales director and they haven't filled you in on how we go about qualification here, all of your business that you do with IAMS qualifies you for our Top Producers Escape and the Tag-On trip. Athene business basically counts double. It counts towards the Athene IAMS trip and our trip as well. A little bit of confusion around that. It's almost one of those things that seems like it's too good to be true, but it's not. So take advantage of both of those opportunities. Dave, I've zipped through some things. Have you joined us here this morning?
I am with you guys.
All right, great to have you aboard as always. So I didn't do a really good proper introduction of you and Lazarus Coaching, so I'm going to hand this over to you and I'm going to let you do that. I want to begin or hand this off to you by saying how much we appreciate what Dave has done for our producers in terms of the coaching he's done with our team over the past 13 or 14 years, really with some great results, helped a lot of producers, take their business to a whole new level in a lot of situations. So we really appreciate Dave and what his team at Lazarus Coaching has been able to do for us. And Dave, I'm going to let you take some time and tell the folks just a little bit about your background, and then let's get into Social Security claiming.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you, everybody, and thank you for being on the webinar. Kind of interesting times right now because of the pandemic, but you're going to see things start easing up, hopefully, and getting back to at least near normal instead of not normal. My name is Dave Pemper. I've been in the financial industry since 1981, first 3 years as insurance and then brokerage from that time on. I'm a big marketer, over 500 plus public seminars. 70 of those have been Social Security seminars, which I think is and is always going to be. I mean, for the next 20 years, it's going to be very much of a. I just talked to folks. This actually came in from Retirement Boss Radio, 70 miles away. They drove on in. Some farmers have a net worth of about $3.5 million and investable assets of about $1.5 million, and they're looking at freeing up about $500,000 from a little more conservative standpoint. But what happens is that marketing is the name of the game. The reason they came in was because they heard me talk about Social Security. That was the reason. And because he can still restrict his application, they found that very, very interesting to be able to do that. So I'm an educator, but I have helped people with IMs, the Insurance Agency Marketing Services, to market their practice to get in front of more people. So we're going to go in for about the next 30 minutes, Steve. I would say that it's going to be about 10 till, between 10 and 5 till is when we will be done to take questions that people ask. But I've done a lot of seminars, 500. I'm currently producing, so I'm doing this day in and day out. I had 3 face-to-face and 2 on phone today. So it's been it's a busy day, and that's the way it should be. I mean, we make a business by talking to people, meeting with people, and I know in some states it's still locked down, but again, that will be opening up. We've done more Zoom, we've done more seminars through and lead generation through virtual marketing, but face-to-face will be coming back before it's all said and done. There's no doubt that our office certainly does help also. We have 3 administrators, and Lynn Feldhauser is the mainstay. We've got for in face-to-face 25 guaranteed buying units has changed a little bit of how we're marketing on the virtual. We're doing a little more with on demand now, where they can actually sign up and have the workshop, within 10 or 15 minutes. So you don't have to have that 2 maybe weeks or a week to go in and kind of forget about it. That seems to have been working very well for a lot of folks. So, but just talk to us about the virtual end of the marketing. I think that it's a very important aspect as marketing goes right now. Those are actual slides. I'm going to go through the slides faster than I would at the actual workshop. There's also coaching that is involved, with the marketing. So if you're spending $2,500 and investing that in getting as many appointments as you can, most of what we're doing now is not live, but it is recorded and it is on demand, meaning they can sign up and have that look as if it's coming right to their computer, within maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and that has been working very well for a lot of folks. The next best thing to being wise oneself is to live in a circle of those who are. By C.S. Lewis, I say I am the circle that are. You're learning from me. You're getting educated by me tonight. I talk about my offices. If you don't have an office, then you certainly wouldn't need to put that in. It could just be the city that you're working, of course. We talk about the Secure Act. It's really been overshadowed by the CARES Act, which I also now do have in the new workshop itself. But the Secure Act, the big thing there is that there's not an inherited. We have 4 slides on this. There's no longer inherited IRAs. There's the 10-year rule, where you have to take all the money out if you inherit that within 10 years. That's not counting the spousal privilege. So that's very, very important. Also, where new income annuities are going to be used more within the 401k platform. So we talk about that, something new, which drives traffic to your seminar. I always ask, you're here because you've got concerns or you've got questions. Is Social Security really going broke? We're going to talk about that. When is the best time for me to apply? We're going to talk in a general way about that tonight, but that's why so many people sign up for an appointment, because we give an 11 pages, no cost to you, no obligation, an 11-page Social Security report, et cetera, et cetera. Because there's 5 bullet points, do I go through every single bullet point? People could read, so I really don't. And I do on Social Security a little bit of history. Started with the Social Security Act. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, started in August of 1935. First check to Ida Mae Fuller of $22 in 1940. In the beginning, there was only one age you could take Social Security, was age 65. The interesting thing, the average age of a person for longevity is 62. What a deal. Yep. There weren't annual cost of living increases until 1975, and now there's been annual COLAs ever since that. So that's almost 40 years, 35 years, a long, long time. In 1983 was the first taxation. 93, there was even a higher taxation, up to 85%. Did away with file and suspend with the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, and we're phasing out restricted applications. Though those folks today, restricted application, he was born in 1953. His wife was born 5 years later, and they are able to restrict. I mean, it gives them an extra about $700 a month for 4 years. So pretty cool. And we're going to implement that into their financial plan. I'll tell you, if you work in the retirement crowd or the pre-retirement crowd and you don't know Social Security claiming, shame on you. You should. It's a big deal. Nearly 60% of all retirees count of Social Security being the major source of income over retirement plans, over personal savings, over pensions. Pretty interesting. But that's how important it is. I got to go back here. Excuse me. Let's see if I can do. There we go. Okay. This slide right here, it's a pretty interesting slide. It's great information. It's from Jana Heron of 2019. It says, doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. $100,000. And this is word for word from the excerpt. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Wild, isn't it? Jeez. 111,000. Bullet point number 3. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. That's why you're here tonight, to take it at the financially optimal age. Social Security 101 made easy. There's 3 ages or dates that are important to Social Security. What's the earliest date you can take it? Age 62. What's the latest date that you need to take it? You don't have to, but you just lose the benefit. Yeah, it's age 70. And then if you're born from 1943 to 1954, your full retirement age is 66. Like this guy I talked to today was born in 1953. And if you're born 1960 or later, it's 67. And then there's increments of 2 months per year that you're born after 1954. So your full retirement age is 66 to 67. If you take early, you get the benefit now as a positive, but it's reduced for the rest of your life. If you take late, you don't get an income now, but it's increased for the rest of your life. That's how Social Security works. Can it have a huge value? Yeah, if you claim at your right time, not someone else's, but your right time. A big benefit, you darn right it is, if you live long enough. Again, the people today, he said he'll live to 87, and she is going to live to 85. That's what they told me. Okay, so that's what I use. A $2,000 benefit at a 2.8% cost of living in 10 years, you have garnered over $300,000. 20 years, almost $250,000, and in 30 years, $1.1 million is what that benefit is. If there are any questions, type them on in. Be more than happy to answer them here at the end. Myth number 1, Social Security is going broke. And I heard my dad say you better put money in a savings or an investment because Social Security is never going to be around where it is. Last year there was a $3 billion surplus. There might be a deficit this year, but over $2.9 trillion in the trust fund. Wow. There's solvency issues because that trust fund, if we take out what we think we are, it's going to run out somewhere between 2033 and 2035. So we're only talking 13, 14 years, maybe 15 years at the most away before the trust fund is bankrupt. A lot of things you can do, but raising the full retirement age, it's the easiest thing. I can tell you right now, my son, 28, if you ask him, hey, Sam, they're raising your full retirement age from 67 to 70. This weekend, he'd tell me, Dad, who cares? Give me another beer. No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. He doesn't think it's going to be there anyway, but it will. And they probably wouldn't affect us, our age. So here's some Social Security facts. Is it a pay-as-you-go system? Yes, it is. How's it paid? By payroll taxes. 6.2% on the employee's part, 6.2% on the employer's part. So if you're self-employed like I am, we pay both sides of it, 16.4%. And then the government goes in and buys government bonds. Now, the naysayers say, but there are no government bonds or very few government bonds in the trust fund now, that $2.9 trillion. That's true. The government, instead of issuing debt, they've basically just borrowed against the trust fund. So there's IOUs there. So a lot of people say that's a Ponzi scheme. It's not. It's not. I mean, what backs the American dollar? Gold, silver? No, nothing. Except for the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. The same guarantee that Social Security gets, the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. So when cash is no longer accepted because it's not valued, that's when I'm going to start having problem with Social Security, okay, of the IOUs. Yeah, you need 40 quarterly credits with Social Security to get a benefit, or to get a Medicare benefit for that matter. Once you have 40, and then it keeps building the more you get. They look at your earnings over your working career, and they look at the inflation-adjusted highest 35 years. 35, not 5 years or 10, but 35 years. And the benefit is increased each year if there's a cost of living. Of all the years, there's only been 3 years there hasn't been a cost of living increase. 2009, 2010, and 2016. Yeah, I love that dog. Got a birthday candle, birthday cake. Look at, he's got a bone tie on. It's a little joke, bad Nebraska joke. Yeah, remember, if you're born from 43 to 54, you get your full amount, your normal amount, your full amount, all of it at 66. Then it goes up 2 months each year to 67, and then if you're born 1960 or later, then the full retirement age is 67. If you take early, if your full retirement age is 66 and you take at 62, it's discounted 25% for the rest of your life. If you wait longer than 60 full retirement age, say it's 66, you wait to 67, it's guaranteed to grow 8%. That's 32% in 4 years. Plus, you always got to put on cost of living. If cost of living averages 2-3%, could be easily another 8-10% on top of that. Can't get that from any investment. So let's talk about spousal benefits. Dave's PIA stands for primary insurance amount, is $2,400, and Amy's PIA is $1,000. Dave takes his, Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. Amy can take all of hers or half of Dave's, whichever is higher. What's higher? Half of Dave's. Yeah, it's worth $1,400, $400 extra dollars. Both of them have to take. What if Dave wants to wait till 70 because he's still working or has enough investment, so he wants to have his grow the delayed retirement credits of the guaranteed 8%. Amy can't take half of his until he takes his. So then Amy would take $1,000 until he turns 70. Once he turns 70, now Amy can take half of his benefit at what it was at primary insurance at his full retirement age, not at what the delayed retirement credits added to it, but at his full retirement age. But she could get a bump up, of that extra $400. Well, it's half of $2,400. It'd be $1,200. So she gets that extra $200 bump up. So spousal privilege or spousal benefits are done automatically. That's not the case when you start looking at divorced spouse benefits. So the triple play on divorced spouse benefits is you have to be you have to have been married for 10 years or more. Your ex has to be at least 62, and the person currently taking the income cannot be remarried, or they have to be unmarried. Those are the three things. Your marriage lasted 10 years or longer, you're currently unmarried, your ex is 62 or older. If those three things line up, you can take your ex just as if you were still married to them. Why is that important? There's many more options, benefits, alternatives with a married couple than there is a single couple. Divorced spouse benefits, they have to be asked for. They're not done automatically like spousal benefits. They have to be asked for. The government will not tell you about the benefit unless you ask. How about survivor's benefits? Well, my wife always says the one thing is no one gets out of here alive, and that's true. Who normally dies first, the guy or the gal? The guy does. And I always say in my workshops, you know why he does? Because he elects to. Another bad joke. Say Dave and Amy are both married, both are over full retirement age. Dave's benefits $2,000, Amy's benefits $1,200. Guy dies first, Dave dies first. Amy now can keep her benefit at $1,200, or she can drop hers and jump up to her spouse's benefit, which is $2,000. What's she going to do? She's going to request to jump up to that $2,000 benefit. It's an extra $800 more that she will now get. It's a pretty big deal. I had a lady, one of my very first workshops in Fremont, my town of 26,000. I'm actually in the Omaha office giving the webinar today, but in Fremont, and she comes in and says, Mr. Pepper workshop, Mr. Pepper, you said something in the Social Security seminar that really, really disturbed me. I said, well, what is that? She said, you said that if your spouse dies and your spouse had a higher benefit for Social Security, that you could jump up to their benefit. I said, that's exactly right. She goes, very authoritative. She says, well, I was told you couldn't. And I said, well, who told you that? And she said, my brother. And so always in the workshop I said, don't ask your brother or your sister or your priest or your pastor or your banker. I mean, don't ask someone who doesn't know Social Security. When I got into business, true story, I called my banker, my CPA, and my lawyer. Called them all and said, do you know anything about Social Security? They all said, nope. I said, what do you do when you got people that want information on that? I send them to the Social Security Administration office. And believe it or not, the Social Security Administration office cannot give advice. They can give you the highest benefit right now, but they cannot give you advice. Coordinating spousal benefits. And this worked with this guy today, so this is going to be pretty cool for him. It's called restricted application. You got to be born before January the 2nd of 1954, which he was. He was born in 53. So here's how it works. Is that I have both of them being full retirement age just for simplicity, but Dave's PIA, the primary insurance amount, that's the amount at full retirement age is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Amy files for her benefit at age 66. For her benefit at age 66. Dave goes in, and normally he would like to delay his to 70, but he can do something called restricted application. He starts it in the eyes of Social Security, but stops it instantly. So he keeps on earning his delayed retirement credit of 8%, but now he's able to let his grow to the age of 70, 8% a year. And there is a free, which I call free, spousal benefit that's available under this restricted application scenario. Amy can go, Dave can go in and take half of Amy's 1,000. Half of 1,000 is 500. 500 times 12 is 6,000 times 4 years. 62, 63, 64, 65 it's $24,000 of free money. It's a pretty cool deal. Pretty neat. So what happens is that this is phasing out. There's still a couple 2.5 years left on it, but that free money could be a big deal. It's called restricted application. Complicated, yes, but very rewarding, yes. Myth number 2, if I claim Social Security benefits early and invest the income, I'll come out ahead rather than delaying them. Most likely not. You get guaranteed increases from 62 to full retirement age of 5 to 7%, and then almost 7, and then 8% after that. Is almost always, if you're going to live long enough, having that income coming in is normally a better thing. Could you claim early? Sure. Is it a good reason? There are good reasons. What happens if you don't have the money? You're not going to live very long. Your DNA is not very good in your family. The bad reason to take it is being uninformed. I actually was going to put being ignorant, but my compliance department thought that was a little strong. So being uninformed, that's the reason not to do it. That's why you're here tonight. Annual earnings test, yes, there is. When you go in, if you earn above $18,240, the government's going to take away $1 for every 2 that you make. They actually give it back to you in a stipend once you turn 65, but they take it out quickly and they give it back to you slowly over your lifetime. I tell people it's normally not worth, if you're earning much over that, it's prorated. If you earn over 46, 7, 8,000, they'll take away all of it. Normally it's not worthwhile to go in to take it. Myth number 3, you're going to get the biggest family benefit waiting to age claim 70. That's not true. Sometimes, like I know a lot about Social Security. My wife took it 62. I recommended her take it 62. It was the biggest benefit for us. I'm waiting longer, but not her. Why delaying could make good sense? Yeah, it could. If you have a $2,000 benefit at full retirement age and you take it 62, you're only going to get $1,500 for the rest of your life. With about a 3% cost of living, it's going to be about $3,000 if you wait to 70. It grows from $1,500 to $3,000 in 8 years, guaranteed by the U.S. government. Pretty salty. Pretty salty. Are there do-overs? Yeah, there are do-overs. There's 3 main do-overs. If you take it, like say the client has heard this and they take it, they can go in and they have 12 months from when they claimed to pay it back and pay any other kind of ancillary, spousal, child, any kind of other benefit back. They can act like it never happened. How about like you're working at a company and they lay you off? You're 62, you take your benefit. At 64, they want to bring you back on with a 50% pay increase. Can they stop Social Security? Nope, they cannot. Once you take it, you got to keep it until you become full retirement age. Once you become full retirement age, now you can go in and stop it and delay it and earn the 8% delayed retirement credit. And remember that gal? That I said she actually lost $30,000. She only lost $27,000. That was the gal that came to my workshop and she got the information about her surviving husband couldn't jump up. Her brother told her, yeah. Well, we went back and once you're over full retirement age and made a mistake, you can go back retroactively 6 months and get the benefit. So she actually did get $500 over 6 months, which is $3,000. Those are the 3 ways there are do-overs. Is Social Security taxed? It depends. If you don't make much money, it's not taxed. If you make quite a bit of money or good money, then 85% of it's taxed. There's always 15% that is not taxed. So every benefit has some tax efficiency or tax advantage to it. Provisional income is your adjusted gross income, not counting any Social Security. Add 1/2 of your Social Security benefit and all of your municipal bond interest. That's how you come up with the taxation. If you're married filing jointly and that amount is under $32,000, you'll owe nothing on your Social Security. If it's $32,000 to $44,000, 50% of your Social Security is taxed. If it's over $44,000, 85% is taxed. It's called provisional income. Are there ways to reduce taxation? You bet. How about if you work with tax-deferred strategies? Muni bonds are counted in the income, but not tax deferral is not. I don't mention the word annuities in my workshops, but that's what I'm referring to here. How about going in with Roth conversions, converting your traditional? There is a tax consequence up front, but all of a sudden now you have tax-free income, and what happens is that tax-free income or distribution, it is not figured in provisional income for Social Security. And like myself, I'm just going to wait to 70. I mean, if I'm not taken, I can't pay taxes on it. I like that. I put that in because of me. Okay? Any questions? Certainly go on in and type them, and we'll go through those here in a couple minutes. I'm a believer of Roth conversions. If you've not done them, you should learn, and it's not troublesome. You just are hard to understand. You just have a traditional IRA. Like right now, I just talked to a guy today. He went in with half of his investment last year, and it wasn't a big investment, about $40,000. He did $20,000 last year. He's going to do another $20,000 this year, and his income is down now that he's retired. And they're not taking RMDs until this year, so his income is still down. Yeah, Roth conversions gets you into a tax-free. How are they going to pay the $6 trillion worth of stimulus? How's the government going to get the money? Well, if you don't think they're going to tax you, you're wrong. They are going to tax you. Government can only make money by tax or borrowing, and they've already borrowed enough. They're going to be taxing to pay that back. So eventually there's going to be some higher taxation. Myth number 5, Social Security Administration will give you the best advice on how to maximize your benefit. Wrong. They can tell you your highest individual benefit now. What they can't do is scenario plan, like restricted application. They cannot give you advice. This is right from their POMS, their Program Operational Manual for the employees at the Social Security Administration. Look at D. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Who gives advice? I do. Why do so many people come in for an appointment? Because I can do the 11-page report and show them exactly when the right time to claim their Social Security to maximize it is. I always consider Social Security as not a standalone income stream. It's the worst water cooler talk there is. Hey, Dave, I took it 62 and you should too. Hey, Dave, I took it 70 and you should too. That's like saying, hey, Dave, I love the color violet and you should too. Not the case. There's other income streams, and claiming that at your right time, not the right time. And Social Security is the most flexible of all the income streams. So, there are wages, pensions, income-producing assets like 401ks, IRAs, savings, investments, RMDs. Now they're age 72. It's really how Social Security fits into those other 4 income streams. So, do you have questions? Yeah, I mean, most people at the workshops do. When is the best time for me to claim? Well, you know what? We'll talk it over, but the Social Security report will tell you that. What will my benefit be? What's the best way to coordinate with my spouse? All of those things. Where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? So when to claim Social Security? There's so many questions. There's a lot to consider. Your own benefits, spousal, survivor, divorced, your health history, other income sources, so much to consider. And then what I do is those last 3 slides, I do a procrastination close. I say here, there's a saying that goes, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. And tomorrow never comes. I don't think I've ever heard in my almost 40 years in the business where you cannot believe of how much money that someone's made from procrastinating. It just doesn't happen. And then I go into the next slide, which basically is the no obligation complimentary appointment signed. And then what happens is they can put down the date and the time, and then we pick those up at the door, or we do a virtual workshop. We actually have an online calendar where they actually sign up for the appointment themselves. And then lastly, I talk about George Foreman being the well-known boxer, winning the heavyweight championship at the age of 45, keeping it till the age of 48. And but he made the majority of his money where? And someone will say the George Foreman grill, and I'll say that is right. Does anybody know how much he made on that grill? He got paid $138 million up front, 20 plus years ago. Not counting the override on the grill, just $138 million to use his name in perpetuity. And then I have fun. I say, so unless your name's on the grill, you need to mark yes on the consultation form and come in and see me. And then people laugh or clap. Yeah. I want to make sure they understand if they don't take action, they're going to lose out on good information they could be getting on Social Security claiming. Steve, I kind of hear you there. I know you're working some of the slides. So would you like to comment or see if there's any questions that people have asked? And we did put a poll up also. And if you'd like to go in and talk about Social Security, I coach it to you if you don't know it. When you get done, you're going to understand Social Security much, much, much more than you understand it right now, plus how to market Social Security through seminar or some type of lead generation on virtual marketing.
That's good stuff, Dave, as always. A couple things that I would mention as we get rolling. So as Dave mentioned, the polls up. If you have interest, for sure, let us know. There are a couple questions, and there's what I let off, Dave, and I don't know when you started. I talked a little bit about the fact we've converted from face-to-face workshops to the digital workshops and how that works. And I know at the end you mentioned that, and there's been some questions along the way. about digital workshops, the costs, the guarantees, and things like that. Do you want to talk a little bit about just in general digital workshops, what the experience has been, and obviously, I think we can all agree that face-to-face is a better option for us in general. But there's some positives about digital workshops. You want to talk about those for a minute?
Absolutely, especially they're opening America back up again, but there's people. I mean, like in the New Jersey area, Pennsylvania area, California area, Michigan, they're still locked in, and so people are using much more computer and technology, and we've done some different tests, and I'll tell you right now, we've had success getting people on the workshops and turning appointments. What happens is it good as face to face? No, it's not. But I'll tell you, either getting in front of people, zooming on a conference, going on the telephone for the appointment itself, you can't stop your marketing. And one of the things, I mean, it's just like yesterday. I mean, I had two face-to-face appointments. One came from the virtual marketing, one came from Retirement Boss Radio, and then I actually had another one that was a client from that. But I'm staying in front of people. We had a phone appointment that was from an old Social Security lead. We're going back and calling a lot of the people that attended that didn't sign up, and I got an appointment with one of those. But people really don't understand Social Security. And if you're waiting for everything to open back up, I mean, libraries, people feel comfortable. It might be months and months and months before that happens. It may not, but it might. But I tell you, doing it online and having a workshop online, we've got some different options. I think you'll be very impressed from a pricing standpoint, and very impressed of the amount of quality that can be on the actual virtual seminar itself.
Perfect, Dave. That poll is still up, so you still have plenty of opportunity to vote if you like. If you do hit yes on that poll, someone from the office here will give you a call and talk with you a little bit, and probably set up an appointment with Dave, which you're going to get some benefit from that either way. And if it's just a Social Security question, that's great. But if you have some deeper questions about how the workshops are working, or what his experience is, there are a couple questions here, Dave, generally about how many people can you expect? How many people do you convert? And I know that there's so much in flux right now between the face-to-face and the digital that there's some things there that are, I don't think we have enough data to be able to give people really super accurate. But if you were going to give them a conservative view of what they could expect in terms of results, what would be your most conservative shot?
Yeah, I would say if you are spending from $2,000 to $2,500, our goal would be is that we would like to go in and to get 8 to 10 appointments, 8 to 10 appointments, and most of those might be by phone right now. Nebraska was never a closed down state. We never were a shelter in place state, so I've always had face-to-face appointments. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate, and what happens is that the big deal is that I'm still talking to people about their Social Security and about their finances. Social Security is a great way. Less than 1% of all people understand Social Security claiming, could give a seminar on it, and only 10% of the advisors, 10 to 12% of the advisors could. So it's certainly a topic that I coach, and that's part of the 3 coaching sessions, and able to use me as much as you want during the time that you're showing those workshops, and down the road also. I mean, I'm really like on retainer with you to help you with any of your Social Security answers. But Social Security, of all the workshops we've ever done, Steve, and marketing programs we've done, Social Security is by far heads and shoulders has the most participation as far as people attending, no doubt.
Oh yeah, that's been the one constant, and it's a great subject. You're talking to people about just what you want to talk to them about, really, kind of their retirement and their retirement income, and it's pretty easy to make the transition into potentially doing business with them if you know how to do it. And there is a couple questions about transitioning when you're talking to clients, talking about Social Security. So I'm looking here, and these are folks that looks like maybe they've done some work with Social Security seminars in the past. I know you've got Did you talk about that during the course of the webinar today, kind of the transitioning language that you use?
I did not, but when I have the slide up there talking about the 5 pillars of income, if you remember that, it was wages, pensions, income producing assets, RMDs on traditional accounts, and then Social Security. One of those really makes us money, and that is income producing assets, the 401ks, the IRAs, the Roth, the CDs, the brokerage accounts, real estate, farmland, etc. Cash life insurance, all of that we have a possibility of working with. And so that's how it took me a while, and you know this, Steve. It took me, and I'm a pretty good salesperson, but it was hard transitioning from Social Security where you don't make anything to how do you transition that to. But I've got written language. I coach you through that. We role play it, but it's very, very effective. It's very non-confrontational, not aggressive. It's very natural and comfortable, and it's really worked well for myself and for the clients that I've coached.
Good. So if you have interest potentially in seeing how you could still incorporate Social Security claiming into a way to get in front of clientele using kind of a digital platform where we have that certainly available to you. As things loosen up, obviously people are going to get comfortable again with going to meetings, and we have a long, 6-7 year proven track record of how that works as well. And if it's just a matter of, hey, I want to learn more about Social Security and Social Security claiming that can help my business, because it's obviously your clients it's a big part of their retirement income stream, and for you to have some, good solid knowledge there is going to be beneficial to you. So if any of those is the case, check yes on that poll. Obviously, if you're happy with where you're at, you've got good knowledge on the Social Security claiming side, everything is in place, it's okay to check no, we don't mind that at all. So, and it looks like most of you have, a couple that have not, which is fine. If Dave, do you have anything that you want to add as we finish up today?
No, you know what? I'm glad people can take the time out, because an hour out of a work day is an hour out of your sales day, an hour out of your prospecting day. My goal is pretty much day in and day out. I want to get it in front of as many people. And Steve, for me, it slowed down a little bit in the beginning, but I mean, I am absolutely packed up. If the reason that I was on at the very end today, because I was just finishing my second appointment for the day. I mean, you want to be in front of people. You want to be talking to people about their money. You want to be swinging at the ball. And just because, don't let the pandemic, don't let the virus stop that. We've got ways, especially from the virtual right now, that we've had some good success, and we've got a couple, 2 or 3 different options. So certainly mark yes. We'll talk, give you a couple ideas, and see if something fits within your budget and fits within your marketing plan for the year.
Great stuff as always, David. Thank you too for your time. Thank you all of the attendees. As I said at the outset, a big group. Some of that is probably because we've got enough people looking for new opportunities and new ways, and some it's just, I know we've got a group of producers out there that are always looking for ways to grow their business, and I appreciate both. So whatever we can do to help you here at IAMS, we're game to do it. That's what we do here. That's our job. And we're going to keep doing that job as we have for the past 33, 34 years now. Dave, thank you for your time. I know you're
you bet.
Packed, and I appreciate you taking some time to help our producers grow their business. So with that, we're going to finish up for today. Don't hesitate to call if you have any questions on anything that we talked about. The number, of course, is 800-255-5055. Ask for me or any of our sales directors. We'll be glad to help you. Again, thank you for your time today, and looking forward to a great finish to your sales week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.